The Paschal Triduum, also known as the Easter Triduum, 3 days in which we commemorate and celebrate the passion, death, and resurrection of the Lord. We've retraced these days, rich with symbolism and meaning, starting with Holy Thursday, and we've done it with the help of Father Giovanni Zaccaria, professor of liturgical theology at the Theology Department of Rome's Pontifical University of the Holy Cross.
Giovedì è l'anticipazione.
Thursday is the anticipation, as with all feasts, also in the Jewish tradition. They begin the evening before. Jesus also respected this tradition, let's say, and in some way he also anticipated at the Last Supper what he would do the next day, giving himself up to die. And this, in the end, is precisely the sense of the washing of the feet. The washing of the feet was born in this context. That is, it is a sign that Jesus utilizes precisely to explain to his disciples what we would do. It's a gesture that in the Jewish tradition was done by the least of the slaves. It was a person, the last of the servants. It was the most humble gesture you could make, and in fact, Peter says, "You'll never wash my feet." The liturgical tradition has taken up this gesture precisely as a sign of that love to the very end that Jesus manifests on the cross.
Proprio come segno di quell'amore fino alla fine che Gesù manifesta sulla croce.
Father Giovanni, could you speak about Holy Thursday and the chrism oil?
Sì. Dunque il crisma è un olio.
So, chrism is a very special oil. It's an oil that is mixed with balsam, so a perfumed oil, which is consecrated with a very ancient prayer and has been used in the church for many centuries on the morning of Holy Thursday. This oil is a special oil precisely because it is used to anoint the churches. All of the churches are anointed, the walls of the churches, in 12 points, like the 12 apostles. They are anointed with this oil. The altar is anointed with this perfumed oil, but not only this, the head of the bishop is also anointed. In the moment in which he is ordained a bishop, when the priest becomes a bishop, his head is anointed with this oil to signal the fact of his role, his ministry, his service to the church, the service of Christ, the head. So his head is anointed like Christ. Christos means this. It means anointed. But the hands of the priest are also anointed to signal that those hands are hands that carry out the actions of Christ. It is precisely Christ himself who carries out those acts in some way. And then, this is also a very important thing. The forehead of the lay faithful is anointed in the sacrament of confirmation. This is really beautiful because it explains also how it is tied to Christian initiation. Baptism and confirmation are tied to the priestly dimension of the life of each person.
Sono legati alla dimensione sacerdotale della vita di ciascuno.
Don Giovanni, adesso io vorrei arrivare al
Father Giovanni, now I'd like to arrive at Good Friday and specifically the way of the cross and the passion of the Lord. This unique moment with so much violence and also the fact that the Lord experienced this in such a lonely way. Can you speak about this event in the liturgy and also of the symbolism that we experience when we're in church?
liturgia, ma anche il simbolo che viviamo quando siamo in chiesa?
Certo. Il Venerdì Santo è un giorno molto speciale nella...
Good Friday is a very special day in the church because it's a day during which we don't celebrate the Eucharist. The function we call like this, the function of Good Friday, is a function in which we commemorate the Passion. We reread the whole text of the Passion. We receive the Eucharist. We adore the cross. We receive the Eucharist.
Ecco, la Via Crucis.
Here then is the way of the cross. It's actually a place of popular devotion. As throughout the centuries, the common people desired to walk the same route with Jesus, Via Crucis means precisely that, the way of the cross. That is, walking together with Jesus in the different stages that led to the place of condemnation and crucifixion. In the end, it's beautiful, don't you think? It's the idea that the faithful want to accompany Jesus. We cannot take him away from the cross. The cross is our salvation.
Non possiamo sottrarlo, toglierlo dalla croce. La croce è la nostra salvezza.
Don Giovanni, l'ultima domanda è che arriviamo a...
Father Giovanni, one last question. We've finally arrived now at Easter Sunday. Can you speak about this joy that the whole church lives when all of the lights are turned on?
Noi siamo celebrando questo momento.
Certo. È sempre
Yes,
molto impressionante,
certainly.
almeno
It's always very impressive, at least where it's possible to do it. The celebration of the vigil, which starts in darkness of the church. The church is totally in darkness, and it is first illuminated by the light of the Easter candle. So only a weak little flame that quivers in the darkness. From that flame, all of the little candles of the faithful are lit, and this is seen as a sign of the faith that is spread. And even though it's not an extraordinary light, it can still illuminate the darkness of the world. The darkness of life, right? The faith may be a bit shaky, as these flames are, but it brings light because it is the light of Christ. And finally, at the third announcement of Easter, all of the lights of the church are turned on. This light is a sign of joy, right? It's that joy that all of us experience.
questa luce è proprio il segno della gioia, no? Quella gioia che tutti noi sperimentiamo.
Father Giovanni, thank you so much for this great conversation.
Thanks to you. It was my great pleasure.
We'll be back after a short break with more on Vaticano.